According to Carol Ogden, MD, in 2010, more than one-third of children and adolescents were overweight or obese. With more than 1 billion humans in the world affected with obesity, the demand for help is at an all-time high. Nutrition is becoming more and more important in people's lives, but many are undereducated about the effects, causes, and long-term health complications with obesity. This is very important to me as well. I am a dietetics major at the University of Nebraska, and I plan to work with children to help prevent this epidemic. The purpose of my speech is to inform you on the effects, diseases, and health complications that stem from obesity, but most importantly, why it is so dangerous in children. To begin, the basis of this arising issue must be addressed. According to MedicineNet, the definition of obesity is having excess body fat, but too much body fat can cause an increase in risk of many diseases, including type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, heart disease, and certain cancers. A person's BMI, which is their body mass index, is an indicator of obesity. BMI only determines obesity in adults, but early stages of this threatening obesity in children can be shown through early onsets of BMI. David Ludwig, MD, considers the obesity epidemic in overlapping phases, or reasons that cause high BMI and excess body fat in humans. Phase 1 began in the 1970s and is still continuing today. The average weight is steadily increasing among children across the country, and higher percentages are considered to be overweight or obese. Phase 2, which is going on now, is beginning its early development. This is characterized by the development of serious weight problems. Type 2 diabetes has increased by a factor of 10% in the past 2 decades only among adolescents. Excess weight can cause fatty liver, and until 1980, this was unrecognized. But today, this occurs in one-third of obese children. This phase also includes the psychological effects. Obese children tend to be socially isolated and have higher rates of disordered eating, anxiety, and depression. When these children also reach adulthood, they are less likely to complete college and more likely to live in poverty than their thinner counterparts. Although we have not yet reached phases 3 and 4, with the current progressions, it has been assumed that these medical complications of obesity could lead this to a life-threatening disease. By 2035, coronary heart disease will contribute to 100,000 cases in adolescents. Preliminary data from Canada has suggested that children with type 2 diabetes are at a high risk for kidney failure and premature death. Ludwig predicted that pediatric obesity could shorten the life expectancy in the United States by 2 to 5 years, which is an equal effect to all the cancers combined. Obesity causes many medical and health problems, as I have already noted too. Diabetes, heart disease, and high cholesterol are the few I would like to focus on. High cholesterol is directly related to excessive weight, and high cholesterol causes a risk for stroke, as well as diabetes and heart disease. Diabetes is increasing at the same speed as obesity, and the Center for Disease Control states that we are eating ourselves into a diabetes epidemic. Among those who are diagnosed with obesity, more than 85% were also diagnosed as obese. Although diabetes also has many causes, these percentages do not lie. Prevention of diabetes requires a healthy diet, excessive increase in physical activity, and if already overweight, 5 to 10% of weight loss helps reduce the risk. Heart disease is not only related to obesity, but obesity predicts heart disease, based on BMI. Just like with diabetes, losing 5 to 10% of weight is shown to reduce the risk of heart disease. So, who is to blame for all these factors? We know it is the obesity epidemic causing many of the critical medical conditions, but who is causing this to become an epidemic? Even though there is no study that can be shown to directly prove parents are the reasons for childhood obesity, through my studies and observations, I think parents are directly responsible. Parents should be enforcing their children to take precautions on their own or be their guide. Healthiness begins in the home, and there are so many small ways to get on track. Keeping soda and sugars to a limited or zero supply, or encouraging children to increase their physical activity can show these kids how to maintain a healthy and physical lifestyle. Society is also causing this epidemic. Obesity is viewed just as a problem with no solutions, and there are many negative attributes towards the obese. American fast food restaurants target children, and with their large portion size and high calorie contents that have doubled and tripled in some cases since the industry was introduced, have negative impacts on children and weight gain. As a result of these effects, underlying problems, and reasons for obesity, It has become an epidemic, and the increasing number of children are being diagnosed with obesity. There are 300,000 deaths per year due to obesity or medical conditions caused by obesity, and without any precautions, that number is only going to increase.